Kia ora everybody and welcome to Point of View for September. I'm here in the Rialto office. My name is Tom Augustine. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we have a very, very special guest. We're talking to Gina Dellabarca, Festival Director for Show Me Shorts, returning stalwart of the New Zealand film scene, highlighting young emerging filmmakers and films. Their program is dropping this month for an October 7th premiere. It's going to be very, very exciting to talk to her today, as well as talking to you guys about what's coming up in cinemas and on streaming this month of September, so stay tuned. Gina Dellabarca is the festival director for Show Me Shorts Film Festival, now in its 20th year, celebrating its 20th anniversary. What a huge milestone. It's a really, really special festival, spotlighting emerging filmmakers from here and around the world. It also happened to feature a film of mine once upon a time, which Gina kindly included in the program. So that's a nice little way to start this conversation, is that we have known each other for a really, really long time. So thank you for coming and joining me today.
So my pleasure. It's great to be able to talk about films and hang out with a fellow film nerd like yourself.
That is how you could characterize me, I think. So we've got a new program coming up next month, October 7th. Is that when it begins?
That's right. We have a big opening celebration at the Civic on the 7th, which will
beautiful.
be fun.
Awesome. And we're going to get the program on the 15th of September, is that correct?
That's right.
Cool,
yeah.
Cool. And so 20 years, how are we celebrating this kind of milestone?
So the team and I have been debating for a while how to celebrate 20 years, which makes us feel a little bit old, as well as excited that we've been able to achieve this milestone.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
Like most festivals only last a few years, so it's actually quite significant to have been around for 20 years. And to be able to fund the festival for 20 years and make it a thing. So that's really exciting. So we're planning a retrospective collection, looking back at some of the most popular films in the festival, and also looking at directors who've gone on to have quite stellar careers since their films first appeared in Show Me Shorts. So I'm excited to kind of announce that soon. And I think audiences will enjoy seeing all the new films in the festival, but also having a chance to look back at some of the previous ones, and probably some people will have seen all of those films and will like to revisit them, but also there'll be quite a few people who've never seen some of the classic New Zealand shorts.
It's very hard to come across a lot of them a lot of the time, so it's really, really great that you're rolling them back out. I mean, as you say, it's such a stalwart. That pink logo has been such a presence in the film community for so long now, and it's as I say, it's a really, really special way to kind of platform younger filmmakers or emerging filmmakers, ones who otherwise might not have a shot at getting a real cinema experience, getting an audience watching their films. So take us back to the beginning. What was the impetus of the festival, and how did you come to be involved?
So Show Me Shorts was a fun project for a group of friends that really just wanted to do something together. Like, we were all film fans, film nerds, and so the festival really came about from an audience perspective. We just wanted to see more amazing short films. And at that time, New Zealand short film makers were winning awards at festivals overseas, but we didn't really have the opportunity to see them here at home. So having our own short film festival meant that we had a vehicle for giving audiences access to those great short films, and it really just grew from there, adding in more international films each year and spreading the festival out from just one location at the little old Academy Cinema in Auckland to now we're at 40 cinemas and community venues nationwide. And it's really special being able to reach out to especially some of the communities in the smaller areas of New Zealand, because they don't get a lot of access to film festival films and many arts and cultural events at all. So we often get our warmest reception at small places like Kati, Great Barrier Island, Stewart Island.
That's, I mean, I was going to say, I mean, the fact that it rolls out across the country in such a kind of motivated way is such a important element of this kind of how the festival feels very grassroots. It feels very like connected to the local community.
Yeah, it's quite unusual for film festivals to actually travel around. Most festivals internationally are really located in one place,
Mm.
and I mean the bulk of our events take place in Auckland, but we also have quite a lot of interactive filmmaker talks and opening night events in Wellington and Christchurch. And then yeah, we do our best. We're expanding more screenings all the time,
Mm.
kind of slowly building and growing. Our whānau friendly program for children and their families has been enormously popular. So that's now going to more and more locations. It's a great way to encourage young people to, short films are so accessible to
Absolutely.
children.
Yeah.
So that's really nice that that's been so successful. And then the Aotearoa program, which is all a collection of just New Zealand films, that's always one of our most popular as well. People are always keen to see like who are the interesting new upcoming directors.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And the type and style of stories it's quite interesting to see the evolution from when Show Me Shorts first began. There was a real glut, I suppose, of coming of age stories.
Mm.
And New Zealanders are still really great at telling coming of age stories, but now there's way more variety. We see a lot of sci-fi.
Yeah.
There's some great animation. There's all kinds of like romance, drama.
Yeah, I think there was a general kind of cultural shift towards something more towards sort of genre based. I think a lot of people saw genre as a stepping stone kind of into other kinds of directing, I guess. And
Yeah, and it makes the short films a little bit more um, audience friendly. For a lot of the audiences that Show Me Shorts screens short films for are uh, they've seen less short films, so and we're screening the films in cinemas where they've seen a lot of like mainstream feature
yeah,
films.
right.
So we want to give them a palatable way into like
Yeah.
the kinds of short film stories, which can be a little bit more on the edgy side.
Totally.
So
Yeah.
we'd like to give the audience a mixture of like fun and thoughtfulness, inspiration, and like maybe thinking on a deeper level as well.
Yeah, throw a few curveballs, but keep them in their seats as well.
Exactly.
So this year, I mean, speaking of young New Zealand filmmakers, you are collaborating with Day One
Yeah.
on a program which includes some of their films that have been produced recently. Is that correct?
That's right. So we're partnering with Day One for the first time this year as a way of showcasing some of the short films that have been made through the Day One Shorts program. And they're mostly quite young filmmakers who are making quite bold and interesting short films. And previously, those shorts have all gone straight online. So we thought it was a great opportunity for us to give those filmmakers an experience of being part of a proper international film festival
Yeah.
and also to showcase their films to audiences and to do that in the cinema before they end up online. So it's kind of a win-win situation.
Cool. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it means we're able to offer even more diversity in the types of films that are playing as part of the festival.
Can you tell us a bit about some of the films that are in that collection? I know that there's a few familiar faces in there, or at least people that I'm familiar with. But is there anyone any that are particularly standing out for you as ones that people need to clap eyes on?
Yeah, absolutely. There's some really interesting films in there. So I want to mention Devil in the Gat, which
Yes,
is
I
a horror film,
fantastic.
which is really nice to see people making horrors, and
Yeah.
it's got a really indigenous grounded kind of perspective. It's about a musician who's trying to make it and will go to any lengths to make it in the music industry.
Correct.
And he approaches a kaumatua and kind of there's a tension between them
Right.
as one seeks to overcome the other.
Oh, fantastic.
And so that's really beautiful, and it looks really beautiful on the big screen. So that's really exciting to see. There's also a Wellington-based team that made Monster and Me, and that is about a man who has this creature that kind of follows him around, and you get to see this kind of interesting creature and the relationship between him and Hal. But I think all of us sometimes feel like we've got a creature following us around.
Yeah.
And so that's quite an interesting style of film. And then we've also got some kind of activist style film.
Right.
There's some documentaries talking about real life stories. There's some transgender film stories. There's a story about a woman who's wondering whether to freeze her eggs or not. She's getting to that time of life where she's thinking about all those things. So these are all kind of interesting subjects.
Well, short films have always been a really great way to highlight, the kind of people who, for whatever kind of backwards reasons, have not been able to kind of make big projects in the past. This is a way to kind of get those voices out there and highlight those voices, and also highlight kind of political kind of messages and that kind of thing, and for people to be really outspoken and that kind of thing. Is that one of the things that you find valuable about shorts?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that especially for these day one filmmakers, because they're towards the beginning of their career, it's great to see them testing out ideas that are quite bold, because they're trying to find what types of films are they going to make in the future.
Yeah.
So, they want to test out a few different styles, figure out what they're passionate about, because as we all know, filmmaking for most people, isn't a super lucrative career to guess. You want to choose subjects that you're passionate about. What are the stories that you really want to tell? They're kind of asking that. Yeah. That's great to see them realized on screen.
Fantastic. And I mean, another thing that is so valuable about showing shorts is the way that it allows us to see various different countries from around the world and see the difference, the contrasts and styles from different places. And I know you guys do throughout the year, you do different kinds of country focused short nights, like I don't know, Turkish, South African, etc., etc. So do you have, and I understand you have a country focus per festival as well, is that right?
Yeah, so we've been doing that for the last, maybe about 10 years. We have a different country of focus, and it's such a great way. Watching a collection of short films from one country is such a great way of getting all different slices of life and culture from that country. So it's really a way to delve into the culture, the history, and particularly like what filmmakers from that country are thinking about. Like, what's the zeitgeist of the issues that are important to them right now. So the country of focus for this year is China, and what an interesting and fascinating rich cultural heritage that country brings. So we're really excited. Some of the filmmakers will be here for the festival.
Oh, wow.
So we'll get to engage with them in some Q&As, find out about how they made their films, get some stories. There's a lot of great animation in that program, and there's some science fiction. And yeah, it's really interesting. There's some quite painterly animation, as well as some fun as well. So
you got me so intrigued. I'm so excited to see all of this. So 15th of September, that's the program drop.
That's right.
How can people find out more about the festival?
So all the information will be up at showmeshorts.co.nz. You should be able to pick up a program from your local cinema from the 15th of September. And yeah, the festival rolls out around the country from the 7th of October onwards. There'll be opening night events in Auckland, Wellington and Christchurch, and screenings, filmmaker talks. There's Vista Foundation Industry Day happening in Auckland on the 12th of October. So for any aspiring filmmakers, there's a full day of interactive workshops and panels and screenings and things. So it's a great way we really hope that anyone who's interested in films in any way, whether it's from an audience perspective or from a maker perspective, will come along and check out what's new in short films this year.
Fantastic. I mean, this festival has such a special place in my heart. As I say, it was first festival that ever took one of my works, and I've had other things in there over the years, and it's just always a pleasure to come and see the community come out and see some amazing local work and international work as well. So congratulations on 20 years. What a milestone.
Thank you. It's a real labour of love. So, yeah, we're delighted to have made 20 years.
Gina Dellabarca, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks, Tom.
So the American summer is coming to an end, which means that the summer blockbuster season is also winding down, and the awards season has not yet started up. So this kind of period, kind of late August, early September, and September in cinemas, a little bit of a quieter time. A lot of the kind of smaller titles that still they're hoping might catch on will get released in this space. And here in Aotearoa, we're also going to be catching up on some releases of some films that premiered at Whanau Marama New Zealand Film Festival. So let's start there. For September, we've got the release of a film called Sorry Baby, Eva Victor's debut film. This one has a lot of buzz out of its Sundance premiere, but I saw it at the festival. It didn't do heaps for me. I felt like it was maybe a little bit emotionally muted. It's the story of a woman who's dealing with the fallout of a sexual assault over a period of years, how it affects her relationships, how it affects her work, and that kind of thing. Obviously a very, very serious subject, one that comes from a very personal place for the creator, but never quite achieves what it sets out to do it dramatically. On a more positive note, the animated film Lesbian Space Princess, which was a huge hit at the festival, is dropping as well. This month it is a kind of whirlwind, queer, animated Fantasia. It's very, very funny. It had a really great reception at the festival, a great time at the movies, a little bit naughty, in a really, really great kind of vivid animated style. Splitsville, which is a very, very funny movie that's dropping this month, is the next film from the makers of a film called The Climb, which was this kind of indie comedy that caused a little bit of a stir, a little bit of a buzz. This one is the makers of that film have kind of ascended to the next level. They have new stars, Dakota Johnson, Adria Arjona, two really, really wonderful actresses, and it looks to be a very, very funny film about modern day relationships. Now, Point of View is doing a giveaway for some tickets to Splitsville, so stay tuned for that later in this episode. Also, there is the film Prime Minister, the documentary about Jacinda Ardern. This is a really, really special film for Aotearoa, a way to kind of look back on a very, very consequential period in this nation's kind of history, a very recent period in this nation's history, and this kind of very, very important political figure in this country, Jacinda Ardern. So if you haven't gotten a chance to catch that at the festival yet, highly recommend checking that one out too. Looking at some other films that are dropping this month in cinemas, Fight or Flight is looks to be kind of a very kind of busy, violent action film set on a plane. It's got Josh Hartnett, who began a little bit of a renaissance last year with the excellent Shyamalan film Trap. This one looks kind of goofy, kind of the vibe I was getting from the trailer is something like Bullet Train or something like that. If that's your kind of mode of action, this could be worth looking out for. We've got a New Zealand film called Life on One Chord. Actually, this one also dropped at Whanau Marama a little bit later in the program. This one is a profile of Dunedin punk rocker Shane Carter, who you will know from Straight Jacket Fits and Dimmer, a real punk legend here in Aotearoa, a little bit of a profile of his life. Also, one of the bigger releases, a kind of interesting anomaly in the kind of Disney film rollout that we've been seeing lately, is a film called The Roses. Now, this is an adaptation of The War of the Roses, which is an 80s film which starred Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner. It's self-adapted from a book from 1981. And this one is another kind of romantic comedy. It comes to us from Jay Roach, who's the director of Meet the Parents, and it has an incredible massive cast, headlined by Olivia Colman and Benedict Cumberbatch. But for anyone who has seen the trailer, you will know doesn't look great. The trailer did not, well, for me at least, the trailer did not sell me on the film's comedy, so which feels like it's going to be a very important part of this film's success. Whether or not it's just a bad trailer and the film is actually a lot better, we will see. I don't have a huge amount of confidence for that one, unfortunately. We have Conjuring Last Rites, which is the return of the Conjuring series. I believe it's the final film in that series. This one is a series that I have never delved into too deeply because I'm too much of a chicken, but it is very, very popular, one of the most successful horror series in the modern kind of firmament. It's got Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, two very, very good, very, very solid character actors in the lead. So I believe they're returning for a final round with ghosts and ghouls and all the like. So if you are a Conjuring fan, keep an eye out for that one. The Long Walk. Now this is yet another Stephen King adaptation after The Life of Chuck earlier this year. This one is more of a horror as opposed to The Life of Chuck, which was Stephen King in more kind of schmaltzy mode. So The Long Walk has this central premise, which is kind of Hunger Gamesy, where it's a group of young men walk, and they have to keep walking, and whoever can walk the longest wins a whole lot of money. Whoever stops walking is shot and killed. And so that's the basic premise, but it looks to be very, very intense. There's some really, really great young actors, including Cooper Hoffman, Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, who's a very, very good actor in his own right. So that one's worth looking out for. Always good to see kind of a nasty little Stephen King joint like this one. A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. Now this is one that's kind of shrouded in mystery at the moment. It comes to us from a very, very accomplished filmmaker, Kogonada, who made a fantastic film called Columbus a while ago, and also a film called After Yang. Both very, very good films in their own right. But this film looks to be a bit of a left turn for him. It looks like it's going into kind of more sentimental territory. Big name stars Colin Farrell, who he's worked with before, and Margot Robbie, in a kind of fantastical romantic journey, and it looks to be very kind of vivid and very colourful, but also potentially a little too, to use another word that I've used earlier in this podcast, schmaltzy. It looks like it's layering on the schmaltz quite a lot. Whether or not that's just, again, a case of a bad trailer, we don't know. There are some intriguing things about this film. There's not a lot of conversation around it. We don't know what we're going to get, but also it's received in America an R rating. It doesn't seem to track with what we know about the film from the trailers. So who knows what we're in for, but whatever it's going to be, Kogonada is a filmmaker who is worth watching to see what he's going to do. So I will be there seated for that one. Now, the film that is the one that obviously I'm the most excited for this month, and I hope that you guys go out to see it as well. Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another. This is the one that people have been buzzing about all year. It is a loose adaptation of a Thomas Pynchon novel. Paul Thomas Anderson, obviously director of There Will Be Blood, The Master, Phantom Thread, Licorice Pizza, Boogie Nights, Magnolia, etc., etc. One of the great living filmmakers. There's no real argument around that. This new film looks to be, has been rumoured to be very, very action heavy. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, and a bunch of other really, really interesting actors. The trailers show something that looks both tense and quite funny, and quite satirical in that kind of Thomas Pynchon mode. If you've ever read a Thomas Pynchon novel, you kind of know what you're in for there. Whatever it's going to be, it's probably going to be something very different to anything else that we're going to see on this scale. This film, quite notoriously now, has this massive budget, which also seems to be quite unique for something of this budget level. A lot of people are already predicting possibly a commercial flop, but hopefully it's a critical success. I will be there no matter what. I'm very, very excited for this film. Perhaps the most excited I am for any film this year. So do check One Battle After Another out when you get the chance. It's a quiet month in cinemas, but that is not the case on streaming. It's going to be a really, really busy, really exciting month with a lot of great material coming up. Starting right at the beginning of the month, we've got Pee Wee as himself. That's the film about Pee Wee Herman, the late great Pee Wee Herman, really amazing comedic actor. Also a really fabulously complex character as well. I'm really excited for that one, as well as My Mum Jane, which is another profile of a very important Hollywood figure, Jane Mansfield. This one comes to us from Mariska Hargitay, who you may recognize from SVU, Special Victims Unit. She is talking about her relationship with her mother and exploring her life, which should be an interesting personal angle on a really, really amazing Hollywood starlet of the Hollywood era. Now, the film that I am most excited about for this month is one that is bypassing cinemas entirely tragically. It is Spike Lee's latest joint, Highest to Lowest. Why this is going straight to streaming, I don't know. It's a real shame. It's the fifth Spike Lee Denzel Washington collaboration. Some of the other films in that collection are the incredible Malcolm X, one of the greatest films of all time, and Mo Better Blues, and Inside Man, another great film. So this is their fifth collaboration, and it's a adaptation of Kurosawa's High and Low, which is itself an incredible film. This one is, I mean, as with any Spike Lee film, it is urgent that you see this film. I mean, I think he is one of the most important auteurs working today. So very excited for that one, even though I wish I could watch it in a cinema as it was meant to be seen. We've also got The Paper, which is a spin-off of the American The Office. So that's an interesting new kind of direction for... Obviously, The Office has been very popular for a very long time, and it still maintains that kind of intense popularity as it circulates through streaming platforms. So it's going to be interesting if they can keep up the energy with a spin-off like this. So that will be an interesting one to look out for. There's quite a strong little comedic cast there, but the fact that they're releasing all the episodes at once doesn't necessarily fill me with confidence. We'll see how it goes. Task arrives on Neon this month. This is a TV series from the creators of Mayor of Easttown, which was a really fantastic show with Kate Winslet. This one stars the great Mark Ruffalo. It looks like another kind of powerful crime drama that looks very intense and fascinating. I'm really quietly excited for this one. I think it might be something quite special. It's really great to see Mark Ruffalo back in something so kind of dramatic and intense as well. Now we've got some returning shows as well. Only Murders in the Building, season 4 of that show was a bit of a downward turn. It kind of lost its way a little bit, but the cast that's returning and the new actors who have been announced for season 5 seem quite promising. So we'll see how that goes. Gen V, the spin-off of The Boys, is also coming back, as well as Apple TV's The Morning Show, which has been bubbling along for a while. And if you've never seen the show, the cast is kind of insane. The amount of famous faces in that show is worth turning out to watch just for that reason. We've also got Slow Horses coming back. This is another show that's really consistent, just bubbling along really strongly, and I believe it's in its 5th season as well now. And this show has Gary Oldman really just stealing the show as a farting alcoholic MI6 agent. So if you haven't watched it before, it's a very interesting kind of take on the spy kind of series. Lastly, we've also got an interesting little kind of comedy coming of age film called Snack Shack, which is dropping kind of releasing into the ether of streaming this month, but I think it might be one to take a look at. Very modest little coming of age film, but a lot of fun as well. And it has Gabriella Bell from The Fabelmans and Saturday Night, who's a really promising young actor as well. So worth keeping an eye out for that one too. In September and October over on Rialto Channel, they're rolling out a whole bunch of really, really special films from the kind of awards season earlier in 2025 and in late 2024. One of the films that I think is a must-see is Sing Sing. It's a really, really beautiful film. It received a whole raft of kind of nominations during that period, particularly for actor Coleman Domingo, who is an amazing actor. He's really one of a kind of performer, and this film is about a drama group that works inside of Sing Sing prison, which is of course notorious for being quite a violent and quite bleak place, and it's about a convict who works with other convicts to kind of try and express themselves through drama. It's a very, very intimate story. It's beautifully shot and incredibly acted. Coleman is acting his butt off, as is the rest of the cast, which is made up of quite a few non-actors, which I always think it brings a really interesting energy to a film like this. So the film is going to be showing repeatedly throughout September and October. Highly recommend you check it out if you haven't already. Sing Sing, very, very good drama film. Point of View are giving away a few very, very cool little goodies for you this month. The first are some double passes to Splitsville. I'm very, very excited for this film. Romantic comedy of sorts, or perhaps an unromantic comedy as the tagline goes. A bit of a withering look at modern day relationships from the makers of a very, very funny film called The Climb. That film drops somewhat unfortunately on September 11th, but it is well worth going and seeing. We're also giving away this lovely copy of the Jacinda Ardern biography to line up with the release of Prime Minister in cinemas nationwide after the local debut at Whanau New Zealand International Film Festival. Very, very cool film and a very, very interesting book as well. So to find out how to get your hands on these, head on over to viewmag.co.nz to enter and to find out more. That's all the time we have today for Point of View. Thank you so much for joining me today. Next month I'll be talking to Samuel Van Grinsven and Dacre Montgomery, director and star of the very, very good local film Went Up the Hill, as well as all the usual updates on what's coming out on the big screen and on streaming. So do tune in. Thank you so much for joining me again. Ka kite.